Hello, we're not on the bank today, so I thought I'd just make a quick rig making video for you. Today I'm going to show you how to make a sliding D-rig for your carp fishing. Okay, so what we're going to need to create this sliding D-link is a hook, a bait spike, piece of heat shrink tube, some line. This I'm using 15-pound subsonic camo line, and some scissors to take away the tag ends. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is cut off an amount of line so that you have enough to work with. So I'm going to cut off about 2 foot. I know I've got enough to work with then. So to create this link, first thing you need to do is create a loop in your line there. So just a simple everyday loop. Take your hook and lie it along the hoop, like so. Now this bit is a little bit fiddly. So the loop, you take your loop and you wrap it around your hook and your tag end 4 or 5 times. Then once you've done that, you can pull your tag end tight. So essentially what you've done is you've tied a similar kind of knot to if you was doing a spade end hook. Okay, so we'll cut that tag end off. We don't need that anymore. So what you should have is a sliding knot which will move up and down the hook like so. So where you want to put it is on the bend of the hook there. Okay, so once that's on, we're going to thread on our bait spike. So that is now sat there on the line. So we're going to create the D by doing a knotless knot. Now, if you don't know how to do the knotless knot, I'm about to show you. So you put your line through the back end of the hook. So the bit with a point on is the front end of the hook. The bit at the back of the shank is the back end of the hook. So you feed your line through there. What you have to think of is how big do you want your D to be. I like mine to be about that size, because once I've done the knotless knot, it will pull it down a bit. So I then pull that so it's down on the hook. What you also want to see before you start wrapping line is where the metal joins together, so that's there. So you do not want to turn that way, you want to turn the opposite way. So we will go 5 or 6 turns over, hold that tight, hold that tight, and then back down through the now what you should have is a nice D with your bait spike on your line, like that. So not many people do this, but what I tend to do is I take a piece of string tube, only a little piece, and I thread that now down to cover the hook eye and the knot. And what I'll do is I'll shrink that on with some steam. I don't have steam available at the moment. I'll see if I can do it some other way. 1 second. Okay, so I've managed to shrink it around the hook. Just with the use of a lighter. I wouldn't use a lighter. I'm not going to use this rig now because I've used a lighter. But if you was to use steam, that would shrink quite well and it doesn't affect your hook length. So, as you can see, we have a D with a bait spike. So the next thing is to figure out how long you want your hook length. So I usually do mine a spread hand, and that's where I'm going to tie my loop. So to do the loop, it's quite just a simple double twist loop is what I do. Now if you hold this loop up a bit and then pull these ends, it tends to keep your loop to a relatively okay size. Pull that tight, just put a bit of slime on there, pull it tight, use the back of scissors, just make sure that's tight, which it is. Cut off the tag end. So now we have a D-link hook link with a bait spike. So when you put your bait on, say it's a boilie, that's what I'm using here, but corn, anything, you can just spike it on and it sits quite nicely. So like I say, you can make this D here as big and as small as you like. Then what I tend to do is I put a bit of a shrink tube on the end of this hoop, attach it to my main line using a quick link swivel, feed the shrink tube over the top, which you can see I haven't done here, but anyway, and there you have your D-link. Thank you.